In the middle of the Vatican City, away from the public's view, you'll find a place filled with some of the oldest and most puzzling documents, the Vatican Secret Archives. The name Secret Archives is used to describe the private collection of documents that have been used by the Pope and the Holy Church for hundreds of years. But could there be more to it than it meets the eye? What are some of the mind-blowing secrets that the Vatican Secret Archives keep? We'll find out together in the new episode of Secret Origins. Welcome! Beyond the physical opulence of the Vatican lies an intellectual wealth that is potentially far more significant. The archives house an estimated 85 kilometers of shelving, a testament to the Catholic Church's millennium-long existence. This place is not merely a monument to history, it's history itself, manifested in parchments, scrolls, and books. And if we observe the annals of the Vatican Secret Archives, we might go on a journey through the church's shadowy corridors, whispering tales of the unseen, the unheard, and the unknown. It is a quest that takes us to the precipice of faith and history, illuminating the mysteries that lie within the Vatican's heart. But first, let's begin with the Vatican State itself. The Vatican City State's foundation dates back to February 11, 1929. Its genesis ties back to the Lateran Pacts of 1929 between Italy and the Holy See. This agreement recognized the Holy See's complete sovereignty over the territory, matching Rome's city, thereby establishing Catholicism as Italy's official religion. With a modest population of around 840 and spanning an area of roughly 108 acres or 44 hectares, the Vatican resides in Rome, Italy. It holds the title of the world's smallest independent country in terms of population and area. The Vatican Museums, the Sistine Chapel, Raphael's rooms, St. Peter's Basilica, and the breathtaking architecture of one of the most historic places in human history. As a beacon of the Roman Catholic faith, the Vatican's power and influence over its religious followers are indisputable. The Holy See's authority reaches Catholics worldwide. Within the city's walls, north of St. Peter's Basilica, stands the Vatican Palace, serving as the Pope's residence. The Pope, regarded as one of the most powerful figures globally, has significant religious influence. His residence, the Vatican, carries the legacy of Etruscans, a mysterious civilization that inhabited central Italy over 3,000 years ago. Despite their advancements in engineering, art, and architecture, we know very little about their language or their beliefs. The name Vatican has no roots in the Bible, Greek, or Latin. Instead, it originates from the Etruscan god Vatis, the deity of divine communication and prophecy. Believing Vatis dwelt in an underground cave, the Etruscans built their temples atop these caves for communion with the deity. Interestingly, the Vatican today still stands over an ancient Etruscan cave. A legend has it that the Pope communicates with Vatis through a secret tunnel connecting the Vatican to this cave. The truth of this is uncertain, but it clearly signifies the Vatican's pagan roots. In October 2019, the Vatican Secret Archives underwent a name change to become the Vatican Apostolic Archives. Established by Paul V in the mid-17th century, the Apostolic Archives, one of the world's oldest institutions, serves as the Holy See's central repository for its documents, deeds, and acts. It is among the world's most extensive archives and also houses the personal records of the Pope under his authority. The archive officially began to exist in 1612 during the time of Pope Paul V. The oldest documents that he managed to collect date back to the 8th century. At least, this is the official statement. It is very likely that there are also much older texts. In 1612, Pope Paul V ordered that all the archives of the Church be kept in one place, right under the Vatican, and since then it has been officially known as Archivum Secretum Apostolicum Vaticanum. From then on, it has not changed its location. The archives look more like a fortress, an underground bunker than a library. There is only one entrance, although there are doubts about that as well. The Vatican Apostolic Archive and the Vatican Secret Archive are two sections of the archives. The first part, open to researchers, contains documents up to the 20th century, starting from the time of Pope Innocent VIII. The second part, the Secret Archive, holds more recent documents but isn't open to the public. Even though the Vatican Secret Archives is thought to hold many secrets and revelations, it's so big and unorganized that nobody knows its true size. Some guess it's 24 miles long, while others say it's as long as 52 miles. It also has 135 separate collections or fondi, which include things like papal decrees, records of prominent papal families, and the documents of suppressed religious groups and monasteries. Many of these records haven't been looked at or organized. Access to some documents, like those about the Inquisition, a group within the Catholic Church that fought against religious dissent, is closely guarded. To see these documents, you need permission from the organization that took over the Inquisition, the Sacred Congregation for the Propagation of the Faith. Historically, access to the Vatican archives was a privilege reserved solely for the Pope. Even high-ranking church officials, such as cardinals, were not granted this right. This changed in 1881 when Pope Leo XIII permitted limited access to these rich resources. To gain admission, individuals need to be reputable scholars with explicit approval from the Vatican's holy authorities, a process that can take years. The archives remain inaccessible to journalists, amateur historians, students, and general enthusiasts. Even for approved researchers, there are multiple challenges to overcome. Researchers must specify the documents they're interested in within this extensive collection. Random browsing is not permitted. They can request up to 3 documents, which they must identify from dense catalogs provided by archive custodians. While researchers peruse their catalogs, available only in manuscript form in Latin and Italian, they are kept under close supervision. Time restrictions are also in place. If researchers exceed their allocated time, they are asked to leave the archives, although they may return the next day for another attempt. Furthermore, the catalogs do not contain all of the Vatican's documents. They only list documents that are more than 75 years old, and they omit many documents that are deemed unfit for public viewing regardless of their age. Suppose you're a researcher who has successfully secured approval for entry into the Vatican's archives. You navigate the security procedures and enter the premises. However, even then you cannot immediately explore the documents. You must wait until an official grants you permission to examine a maximum of 3 folders per day. These folders are not organized systematically, and you essentially have to dive into a sea of unsorted information. For many researchers, finding a document of importance can take years due to this disarray. Even upon discovering something significant, the Church requires that all findings be disclosed to them. The Church then decides whether the researcher can use the discovered information, a stipulation that carries its own implications. In 2012, marking its 400th anniversary, the Vatican temporarily allowed journalists access to small sections of the archives. Under pressure from human rights organizations, the Vatican in 2020 agreed to release documents related to Pope Pius XII's involvement in World War II. However, what was shown to the public deviated considerably from the previously stated expectations. It seemed more of a public relations maneuver, rather than a genuine effort to present historical truth. This seems to have been the pattern. The Vatican tightly guards its secrets, irrespective of the circumstances, the entities interested in uncovering them, or the historical era in question. So, what are some of the known documents that the Vatican Secret Archive keeps? Let's begin by discussing the known contents of the Vatican's archive. It's a repository filled with documents of historic importance. It holds numerous letters sent over centuries by various people to the reigning pope at the time. Notable among the documents stored in the archive are official edicts from popes. One example is the edict excommunicating the German reformer Martin Luther. Another is the edict Inter Caethera, issued by Pope Alexander VI in 1493, which divided the then-known world into spheres of influence between Spain and Portugal, a precursor of sorts to the Cold War era power dynamics between the USSR and the US. In 2001, the long-lost archives of the Knights Templar were discovered in the Vatican. The document, a scroll nearly 60 meters long, details the trial of 1307 against the Templar Knights. These documents dramatically altered the historical narrative around the Templars and the papacy of that era. Another significant document found within the archive is the handwritten record of Galileo Galilei's 1633 trial, where he faced accusations for asserting that the Earth orbited the Sun, a belief that contradicted conventional wisdom at the time. Other fascinating pieces include the doctrine of the Immaculate Conception of Virgin Mary, penned in 1854, a letter from Michelangelo to Pope Julius II requesting payment for his work on the Sistine Chapel, and correspondences from King Henry VIII, Abraham Lincoln, Jefferson Davis, who was the President of the Confederate States of America from 1861 to 1865. Rumors persist about the existence of documents detailing the true genealogy of Jesus. It is known that biblical texts have been subject to interpretation and adaptation. But according to some researchers and historians, there are records about the authentic life of Jesus stored in the Vatican. The Church, however, remains silent about these purported documents, perhaps because their release could shatter established beliefs. It is intriguing to note that much of Jesus' life until he turned 30 remains unaccounted for. Some researchers, including novelist Dan Brown, speculate that Jesus was married and had children. If such documents exist, their revelation could dramatically shake the foundations of the Church, and by extension, the institution of the papacy. So, despite all this secrecy, the Vatican Secret Archives is an important source of information for those wanting to learn more about the Catholic Church and the world. Skeptics firmly believe that the Vatican Archives contain nothing more than what's being officially represented. They argue that the term secretum, from which the term secret archives derives in Latin, actually means private. Thus, they insist that the archives merely store the personal correspondences of the popes and documents pertaining to church affairs. In line with this belief, in 2019, the Vatican officially altered the name from the Secret Archives of the Vatican to the Vatican Apostolic Archives. However, there's one issue. Despite the name's alteration, the archive's contents largely remain a mystery. The Vatican Secret Archives, known for safeguarding some of the world's most treasured and dangerous documents, have found themselves at the center of recent controversies. In 2015, researchers alleged the discovery of numerous concealed documents detailing sexual abuse incidents by Catholic priests. They contended that the Vatican prioritized its reputation over protecting victims. Later in 2018, claims surfaced that the Vatican destroyed significant Holocaust-related files. While the Vatican asserted these were removed for preservation, many argue it was an attempt to protect the Church's image. But this air of mystery around the Vatican Secret Archives leads to speculation about what else might have been kept hidden. Among the rumors, some suggest the presence of evidence pointing to extraterrestrial life, including skulls claimed to be of alien origin. Furthermore, theories circulate that the Pope and these alleged extraterrestrials are in cahoots, plotting to microchip all humans. While these claims lack solid evidence, they continue to intrigue many, painting the Vatican as the custodian of potentially earth-shattering secrets. There is actually an ongoing historical debate about whether Jesus Christ really existed. A recent theory suggests that the Vatican Secret Archives may have proof that Christ did not exist. This is based on alleged letters between Emperor Nero and Saint Paul stored in their archives. According to the story, Nero, worried about the spread of Christianity, asked Paul about its leader. Paul supposedly said Christ was a real person who has been killed by the Romans, but the truth of these claims is still being investigated. Some historians think the story of Jesus' existence might have been made up to calm Emperor Nero. If it's true, it could mean the Vatican is hiding the truth about Christ to keep its power. The question of Christ's existence is likely to continue being a topic of debate for many more centuries. There exist speculative theories suggesting that the archives house evidence about the actual existence of several mythical religious relics such as the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, Christ's cross, and the crown of thorns. Some proponents of these theories posit that the archives may contain maps or instructions leading to these immensely valuable religious artifacts. Others venture even further, speculating that these sacred objects might themselves be stored within the confines of the archive. Conspiracy theorists believe that the medieval secret society, the Illuminati, has resurfaced in powerful positions globally, including prominent roles within the Vatican. Despite skepticism, considering the Vatican's immense wealth, valued at over 30 billion, its priceless collection of art and historical artifacts, some find the Illuminati's influence plausible. This belief is often called upon to explain unaccountable global events. In 1750, an intriguing ancient book was unearthed in Solomon's tomb in Jerusalem by archaeologists. Although the book was written in either Hebrew or Aramaic, it appeared to be a copy of even older version, possibly dating back to the 12,000s or earlier. The date of its creation, however, isn't what piqued interest, but rather its contexts. Within the book were detailed instructions for creating mystical talismans, summoning demons, and even calling forth the devil himself. Strikingly, the author of the book is believed to be Honorius of Thebes, though further details about him are scant. The book was named the Grand Grimoire, and according to the Vatican, it resides within their archives. There's a legend suggesting that the Vatican's archives also contain records of the female Pope. Allegedly, upon the demise of Pope Leo IV, a woman was selected to succeed him. However, she had to conform to one condition. She was required to disguise herself as a man and assume the name John Anglicus. She ruled for nearly 2 years until her subordinates discovered her true identity when she gave birth, swiftly concluding her reign. Artworks found around the altar of St. Peter's Cathedral depict a woman wearing a papal crown, and Jean Lawrence Bernardini sculpted a high-ranking clergyman with a woman's face on his chest. These visual clues add credibility to the legend, transforming it into a potential conspiracy. Moreover, one of the minor streets in the Vatican is named Vicious Papissa, providing further fuel for these rumors. Now, another interesting secret that the Vatican might hold revolves around a prophecy indicating the world's end. This isn't merely speculative, it's an actual phenomenon that even compelled the Church to address it. However, the veracity of the Church disclosure is still under security. This refers to the story of the secrets of Fatima. Back in 1917, 3 Portuguese children received sinister and enigmatic prophecies, along with several appearances of the Virgin Mary. Remarkably, one such vision was witnessed by a multitude of people. Despite its partial release into 2000s, rumor persists that the full document supposedly prophesizing catastrophic events is withheld from the public either due to its shocking content or as a manipulation tool. According to the statement from the Vatican, the third child sold a city completely destroyed and many bodies in the street, and the Pope climbed the highest hill in the area and prayed before being killed. The supposed revelation of this secret in the 2000s clearly failed to cool the world's concerns, as everyone continued to claim that this was not the whole truth and that the children had actually seen the coming of the Antichrist. Finally, one of the most interesting speculations is that the archives conceal a time travel device known as the Chrono Advisor, supposedly reverse engineering by Father Pellegrino Maria Ernetti from an artifact left by an ancient civilization. The enigma of the Vatican Archives, therefore, remains a matter of constant debate and speculations. Ernetti, the supposed inventor of the Chrono Advisor, claimed that this device allowed him to witness historical events, including the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Ernetti himself says that the Pope Pius XII forbade sharing details of this device because it was too dangerous. Whether it's true or not, we can't know, but things are definitely getting more interesting. No evidence of such a device have ever surfaced, and Ernetti passed away in 1994, taking any secrets about it with him. Despite this, some speculate that the Chrono Advisor remains hidden in the Vatican Archives, waiting to be unearthed. So, these are some of the most rumored secrets that the Secret Archive of the Vatican holds. What remains hidden within the archives is still largely a mystery, but it's probable that they contain mysteries yet to be unveiled. Given the Catholic Church's long history, it's plausible that some of these secrets could be quite astonishing. And if these secrets are eventually disclosed, then they may alter our understanding of the Church. The Vatican Secret Archives, with its extensive and varied collection of documents, has long been a source of fascination for scholars, historians, and believers. Its myriad papers span centuries, reflecting not just the evolution of the Catholic Church, but the transformation of society and our understanding of the universe. The archive's carefully guarded secrecy and limited accessibility have fueled countless theories and speculations. As believers, we cannot help but wonder, could it contain evidence of extraterrestrial life, or perhaps prophecies of the end times? Might there be undisclosed accounts of the Church's interaction? Are there documents that prove the Church's interaction with very important historical figures or even governments? If not, one thing is for sure: many of these secrets will be unveiled in the future. We bow before you and thank you for watching another episode of Secret Origins. Keep your minds open, and until we meet again.